Hey, and we are back to Making Money Move podcast. I am your host, Aaliyah. Of course, who else would do it? But I am here with you again. Last week, actually, guys, was my 10th episode. For those that have been watching me faithfully for these 10 weeks, thank you. For those that are just tuning in, you have missed a treat, but you can always go and check YouTube at Making Money Moves podcast, iTunes at Making Money Moves. Google, you just don't want to work with me. I'm still trying to figure this out. I cannot get this on this iPlay. But you can find it on SoundCloud. We are on there. So I do thank you. And I want to thank our guest last week, TJ Miner, for coming in. He is part of Grit Performance, TM Security, and Get Fit Together. He is one of the co-owners of Get Fit Together Houston, which is something new. I know we didn't talk about it last week, but that is something new that he has as well. So last week we talked about crowdfunding was a jewel that I dropped. And then he mentioned knowing your markets and starting young. Okay, which is what he does. He said, know your market. You build relationships with these kids that you are training, and it helps when you have to, when they are transitioning into a different state or, city for whatever college, university they're going to. They always have somebody to be able to fall back on, which is part of their mentorship program in his Grit Performance. But we also talked about crowdfunding. So I talked to you about crowdfunding. I also mentioned some of the companies that you could go to for crowdfunding. I'll have the article up here. I'll give you the top 3 for some of the for the crowdfunding. I did mention what it was like. So crowdfunding is you go to investors, not crowdfunding like the GoFundMe, but crowdfunding as in let me go to these companies that can invest $10,000 or that can invest $20,000 or can invest $5,000 in my company. And this is what we have. So that is part of it. I did mention the companies for that. So if you all have any questions about that, I'll have the link in that you can kind of get to the companies. If you have questions about crowdfunding, let me know. But let's get into this week. I have another moneymaker for you guys. Her name is Dominique Broadway. She is a Bowie State graduate. She is a financial planner. She is everything money. Okay. Everything money. She, is the money expert, I think, of the year. She has been in Forbes. She has been in Black Enterprise. She has any magazine or article that you can think of that dealing with money. She has been there. Okay. We are going to talk to her today. She also has a financial background. So she worked in a brokerage firm where she worked with high net worth clientele. And that is actually how she got started. People always feel like, but we'll get into that, how people feel later. But let's get into Dominique. So welcome, Dominique. Welcome.
Thank you, Leah. I'm so excited to be here with you.
Yeah. So give us a little bit about Dominique Broadway. Tell us about give us a little bit.
So I guess essentially what background or kind of what I'm doing in life right
now? Give us the background. Because we see you traveling all the time. Even though some of it's for work, we see you traveling. Yeah. I know you have these big trips coming up. Yeah. So give us a little background about like how you first got started with money. Mm-hmm. Your relationship, we'll get into that from because I actually got that from her podcast when I told you guys about your relationship with money, and we want to have like a long term, but not a one night stand. Yeah. I actually got that from her podcast. So give us a little background, and then we'll get into the rest.
Yeah. So I guess currently I'm an award-winning financial planner, personal finance expert, and the founder of Finances Demystified. So I currently work with millennials, entrepreneurs, and creatives, helping them to understand their finances so that we can demystify them and bring all their dreams to reality. So I got here because I actually realized probably when I was like in high school, which sounds really, really corny, that I wanted to be a financial planner, and I wanted to specifically be like a stockbroker. And I was researching in high school because I've always been like super hustler, always had tons of businesses, starting from like 7 to even being chief operating officer of a company that helped kids learn how to use computers, actually, because they wasn't teaching that in school back then when I was younger. So me and one of my good friends, we started a company doing that and ran that during the week and the weekend. So that was like one of my first bigger businesses that I had, where we actually like had like a little staff. It was cool. But anyway, I was always just trying to figure out like how I could be wealthy, and not like in a Scrooge way, really in a just like, I understood that if I had my own money, I had my own wealth, I could do what I wanted to do when I wanted to do it. And so I started researching, like in high school, like how were the rich getting richer? And it was pretty much two ways: through real estate and through investing via the stock market. So couldn't really buy a house at the time because I was young, but I feel like figured out that I would at least start researching and trying to understand the stock market. And so I went to my family and asked them for help. And even though my mom was an accountant at the time and my dad was an entrepreneur and doing a lot of different things, so was my stepfather as well. My grandfather was like the chief technology officer for Department of Defense, but no one knew how like investing worked, and it just blew my mind. They were like, oh, we have 401k plans, I think, and there's savings plans, but no one could explain it to me, so I had to kind of like teach myself. And so that's really where I got into that passion, and went to Bowie State University and majored in banking and finance. And I knew I was like, I want to work like in New York, like I want to be like on Wall Street, near Wall Street, with these high net worth people, or just with people with money. And so I, by God's grace, like ended up with an internship at UBS Financial Services, which is one of the top wealth management firms in the world. And that's kind of how my career started. But it was, it was an interesting story behind that. But yeah, that's kind of how I got into it, and was able to start working with these high net worth clients. And high net worth clients are people that have $5, $10, $20 million in investable assets. So we're actually doing the wealth management, trading, and financial planning for those people.
Oh, I need to become one of those people. I've been trying to figure this out, man. Okay. Yeah. So I went through, obviously, you know, guys, I do research before anybody comes on. So let me give you a little history of, or a little, let's talk some money and some numbers, because, you know, we like numbers, and we know numbers, not percentages. For some reason, people know numbers, not percentages. I don't know. But the industry that Dominique is in is a $109.6 billion industry. Okay, that was in 2015. So 2018 had a 12% growth. It had a 12% increase. So if you don't understand the percentages, the increase from 119 at 12% put you at 133. Okay, you guys, let's $133 billion industry is what this financial industry is in. Is what she is in. And, you know, what's funny is a lot of people going through her site, talking to her. A lot of people think, even on your site, that, you know, that only people that have like financial planners or people that need these things are people that have money. Yeah. Which I think the people that need it the most are the people that don't have any money, or the people that the money is minimal. Because you are the people that this everyday life is what you need, like to stop living paycheck to paycheck, to figure out how to have your savings, or to figure out, you know, this 6-month plan, like to figure these things out, and we don't have
plan for the next month.
like what is it?
Yeah, and that's really why I started, because it was people continuously coming to me asking me for financial advice, and like my friends, and I was like, well, you have to have, you know, at least $1 million at the firm I was working at. You had to have at least $1 million to become a client, which is crazy. And so, but my friends are just like, well, clearly you're doing something different than what we're doing. Cause I had bought my first house at 22, although I graduated college with like a 2.2, 2.3 GPA, worked a lot of time while I was in college, and all my friends they were boomerang kids. They went right back home after college. And I like went to this like deluxe condo in the sky, and they're like, well, we was at the same parties. What were you doing? I was like, oh, you weren't like saving and like, you know what I mean? And investing your little coins. Cause we didn't have tons of money, you know? Right. And so that was really why I started my business. Cause I mean, it's stupid to have to keep saying no to people who want financial guidance and telling people that, no, we can't help you because you don't have enough money. That's stupid. Right. And so that's why I was like, well, I'm gonna go ahead and start this thing to help everyone else. So most of this industry that you're talking about, most of these financial planners or financial advisors are going after the 1%, right? Everyone wants to be the 1%, the uber wealthy. But I figured I would just go ahead and go after the 99%, the ones that aren't uber wealthy, because that's a much bigger market, and educating them on personal finance.
And education, you know, is the key, which, you know, our background, obviously, we both have degrees. So her background was in banking. She knew what she wanted to do. My background, obviously, is in finance and accounting. And then my master's is in education. So I've, you know, and now I'm a financial and wedding planner. So, you know, obviously we jumped around, but obviously you always come back to finance. So obviously on this show, we've talked to a lot of entrepreneurs, and that is what she is. She also has a great, guys, I went through this. I went through her website and went through these things, and she has it broken down in weeks and in steps. When I deal with clients, I don't have broken down like that, but I am going to steal that. So some of the people that are watching that are clients of mine know we're going to, you know, now transform some things. But she gives you a 5-week course online, a boot camp, basically, is what she gives you for financial freedom is what I want to call it. So she gives you like week 1, your foundation. Week 2 it's like credit cards.
I think week 1 is like your money mindset, and then 2 is like your financial foundation. So getting like your numbers, your budget. I can't even remember. And then really going into like credit, debt, investing, and then savings and investing. What I like to say in that specific boot camp. So we have like a 5-week boot camp, then we have like a 5-day Your Wealthy Year challenge, which condenses which is awesome too. But basically, I like to say it addresses everything with your name and a dollar sign. So everything with your name and a dollar sign, we're going to help you create some sort of get some clarity or demystify that is the idea.
One of the things that that she mentioned that people don't know about is the stock market or how to invest. I know is a really big, like, where do I put my money? Like, how do I invest it? So what would you tell people that I have? So every week I've given some type of what we've looked into, what I've researched and looked into as far as artificial intelligence. We've looked into marijuana. We've looked into, what if I looked into? Every week we've looked into something.
I know marijuana is big right now.
And so what would you tell these people that I have $1,000 that I want to put somewhere, or I need some help to figure out, because a lot of people are scared that I don't want to lose my money, but scared money doesn't make any money. I tell you that all the time. But what do I do? Like, what do you tell these people? Like, this is all that I have to give, but I want to be able to put it somewhere because I need to start somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, I think the first question, obviously, like, if you only have $1,000 and that's like all you got to your name, then you don't need to be investing in the stock market. First of all, because I hear people be like, "Ooh, Dominique, I got $500. What should I do? Save it. That's all you got." But anyway, so if you have an extra $1,000 in addition to like
your additional to whatever you already have,
what you need for a rainy day, it's really easy to start investing. So I started investing like $25. I didn't have tons of money. I was in college, right? So I would just take my little $25 and just gradually put them in. I tell people to invest in what you own. So I tell people, like, take a week, 3 to 5 days or something like that, and just look around and write down the places that you're frequenting. You know, are you using iPhones? Are you using Google every day? You know, so if you're like, hey, I have all Apple products, we got Apple Watches and everything, like, invest in Apple. If you know you cannot go a day without eating at Chipotle, or you frequent Chipotle, buy Chipotle. You know, if you're buying whatever designer bags people, I don't really buy designer bags, but whatever designer bags people are buying, Coach or whatever, invest in those specific brands, or I'm wishing in Kate Spade or whatever. And so R.I.P.
before she died.
Well, she had already sold most of her company before she died anyway, actually, but Coach bought a large portion of it. So invest in Coach. A lot of people don't know that. So it's like, take the time and look around and see what you're actually what you actually buy and invest in those things. Because I hate when people are like, "Oh, I want to invest in, you know, artificial intelligence or oil," and I'm like, you don't know anything about this stuff, right? So you're going off of what you're hearing other people say, but you know that you pay your cell phone bill to T-Mobile every month or whatever. Invest in them. You know what I mean? Like, T-Mobile actually gave out stock to us, the users, recently. So I think looking at those things that you're already purchasing and invest in those companies. And if you're looking for places to start, like, especially with technology, it's so much easier to invest than it used to be. You could use an Acorns and you can start for $5, or a Robinhood, or a Charles Schwab. I know I started out with it was called Share Builder is where I started. This is back in the day. I'm a little older now, but back in the day I started with Share Builder because it gave you the ability to buy partial shares, which is not something that you can typically do. And now they're bought by Capital One, so that's Capital One Investing. And so I think look for those places that give you the ability to do $5 and $10 and stuff like that, so you don't even necessarily have to commit the whole 1,000 or whatever your initial amount.
Okay, guys, do you hear that? Start small. You know, one thing that my uncle, who watches me every week, hey, Uncle David, one thing he always said was to invest in what you already have. So if you like, with Dove. You know, I know people that only use Dove soap.
Yeah.
So stuff like that. He was like, he literally invested in all the stuff they use around the house, but he likes toys. He likes electronics and cars.
And also looking at kids are the best stock pickers, like the best stock pickers. So if you have like a niece and nephew, some random kid that's around, whoever, see what they're using. Because I remember when Heelys came out. Remember Heelys, the shoes with the wheels in them? You remember those?
Yeah.
Okay, so the Heelys came out, and this was when my sister was in probably middle school, so this was a while ago. But Heelys came out, and it was a sneaker that had the wheel in them, so the kids could hit a little thing, and boom,
And
the wheels would come out.
Yeah,
then all the kids,
the skate shoes.
Yeah, they were Heelys. That was the brand. And I remember my sister was like, "Oh my gosh, I want some Heelys." So we got her some Heelys. And I remember, you know, they were everywhere. Then the mall started banning them, and then the school started banning them. And I remember one day just looking and like coming to the house, and I'm like, she is not using these Heelys no more. So I was like, let me sell their stock, because clearly they're getting their whack, right? And then essentially Heelys went down because the kids were no longer into them. And I'm like, she's one of my favorite stock pickers. I'm like, I was there recently and the kids are wearing Under Armour, so put some money in Under Armour. You know what I mean? Because I'm hip, but I'm not as hip as what the young kids are doing. So they're a great place to start.
And that
looking
makes
as well.
so much sense because my nephew is 11, and then I also have a 4-year-old that's around all the time. So right now they are like that might be a good. Don't worry, TJ. We're gonna go home and invest in some of these things that take ass. That's funny though. But I look at the stuff that my nephew was like. I don't know right now. I know he's such a big YouTuber, but they are like
Google.
These things.
In Google, then. He's a big YouTuber.
YouTube is just this thing, way of the future.
Yeah.
I see. But that is good, you guys. Okay, so if you have questions, I see people have joined. If you have questions for Dominique, let me know. Let us know. You can ask us. She can answer for you guys. So what is the biggest misconception about having a financial planner or just having a financial plan, period?
Yeah, I think I think the biggest misconception is obviously that you have to have tons of money. That's a tongue twister. That you have to have tons of money to have a financial plan. Not even necessarily a financial planner, but people won't even take the time to plan what they have. So even if you're making $30,000 a year, you need to plan for that $30,000, because even if you start making more money, which people think is the answer, and it's not always the answer, because if you can't manage the $30,000 you have, when you hit 100, whatever, you still gonna have the same issues. I had a client, and I told her all the time, and she was making $50K a year, and she was paycheck to paycheck, and that's when she had started working with me, because she was like, look, I'm about to come into a bunch of money, because she was a doctor, and she's like, I'm just really scared because I'm paycheck to paycheck at 50. And actually, I met her when she hit the mark, actually. So she started at 50, she went to 300K, and she was still paycheck to paycheck. That's when I started working with her, and she hit 300,000 a year and was still paycheck to paycheck. And we all feel like, hey, if I had another even 20,000, things would be different. But it was the same situation, because she immediately adjusted her lifestyle to reach that $300,000 a year. And so we had to take a step back and create a plan for it. And I'm like, you didn't have a plan at 50, so of course your plan at 300,000 is non-existent. Now you just got even more money coming in, and it's coming in more frequently. So I think that's one of the biggest misconceptions, and that's one of the things that I realized that I was doing. Because I was like, what was I doing so differently than everyone else when I was in college? Because I was at the same parties. Like, you know what I mean? I didn't really have anything extra extravagant going on. You know what I mean? But I realized that I had a plan. I had a plan when I was in college. And I remember going to college and telling my mom, and I love my mom and love being in my mom's house. But I was like, hey, I'm not moving back. Like, I'm totally moving. Like, I'm buying something after college. And she was like, oh, okay. And that was my plan. I had put that plan in place since my freshman year. And so as I was approaching not retirement, what's it called? Graduation. I started looking for homes, and I found me a first-time home buyer program that worked based on the 39 or 40K that I was making out of college. You know what I mean? So I wasn't even making tons of money. I just had good credit because I didn't mess it up in college, and I had a little bit of savings, not tons, and I had a program that allowed me to get in with basically no money down. And so it was just me being resourceful. So having a plan at all points is something that's really important.
You know, and that is so funny, because so my first year of even doing taxes, you know, I do everything financial on the tax side. But my first year, from when you don't have the money that's coming or sitting there, or when you go, and I was teaching and doing taxes. So now I have this extra money that is like now sitting here, and it's now this, and that. You know how you always think, oh, you're a little savvy, you can save you this and you're that. And then once you get it, in your hand? Because I get this question all the time, like all your money kind of comes in at one time. Like, what do you do throughout the year? Obviously, I still work every day, like a Jamaican.
Yeah.
No offense, Jamaicans, but I do work 7 days a week, I feel like. But then, which probably was, 6 or 7 years ago, I didn't have a plan. So literally, I think when I left teaching, I was doing tax. I think by probably like October, I had to go get another job.
Yeah.
Because literally, I was like, oh, and it's not like big stuff. Yeah. And I always tell people that it's not big stuff. Like, I'm not going out and buying a Gucci bag. I'm not buying Louboutin shoes every day. It's not that. It's like, hey, girl, let's go out to eat.
Yeah.
Hey, let's go to a restaurant. It's
a slow journey.
Yeah. It's just like, it's little stuff here, little stuff there, and that adds up.
Yeah,
and you don't really realize that until it's like, I looked at my account one time, like, I didn't spend $2,500 in 2 months on going out to eat and drinking.
Definitely. I've done that in a month.
Like,
easy.
what are you doing? So then, and realizing, like, oh, let me go get, and you know what? The only thing that caught me that made me stop, I think, was Bank of America has like a financial wheel at the top of their, like in their software. So it shows you, like, it's color coded. It shows you, like, this is what you spend on rent. This is what you spend on food. This is what you spend on clothes. Like, it itemizes it for you, basically. And I was like, wow.
Yeah.
Like, this is all, I got to be able to pay rent next month. Like, literally, I had to go back to work.
Yeah.
Because I literally didn't have it. So, so I really had to, like, and I'm on my own out here, so when I graduated from college, I didn't go back home either. To me, it didn't make sense. It was like defeats the purpose of you going away to school or going to school in general to come back. Yeah. So me going back to Michigan wasn't an option.
Yeah.
I love to visit. I got 5 days. I can tolerate it. Okay?
That's all you can say.
And then I leave. But I just never went back. So it was really like you had to figure it out.
Yeah.
And then I wasn't telling like my parents and all the stuff that was really going on, because I was like, oh, I'm grown. I got to figure this thing out. If I either got to put $5 in my gas tank or go get me a $1 burger from McDonald's, because now I'm starving.
We have all been there.
We got to figure it out. Okay.
Definitely.
But that is so funny. So putting a plan in place is really, guys, a big thing that that you should do. So if you need help, Dominique is here. She is online. Her website is up, or we'll post it again so you'll be able to see that. You can call me. We'll figure it out. We'll bring Dominique. We'll do a panel of some sort of some kind or something, and we'll have Dominique, and she can kind of drop you guys some more jewels and gems and get y'all some help with this money thing. Okay.
Get this money right.
So so then, okay, let me see what else. Okay. So, let's go to investments. So with investments, you said invest in what you do. Invest in what you like. So she is a money expert. She also is going to Israel. So let's talk about Israel a little bit, because when she does a lot of research for these different things, and I didn't know, obviously we don't do enough research when you want to get into different industries and do different things, but I did look up the program that she is in. So talk to us a little bit about Israel, because I know you love to travel. You travel a lot. So give us a little bit about Israel, and then kind of what you're going to do while you're there. Kind of how you got it, how it came about.
So travel is like my passion, which is really why my main reason for making money is so I can go to brunch and travel, and that's pretty much it. And so essentially, I found out about, so this program is called Reality Impact, and it's a program that sends you to all expense. They pay for everything, which is awesome. So you have to apply and send an application and, do a video. They, take you through the ringer a little bit, because they do pay for everything. But basically the way it works, and you may have seen it, I found out about it first because I have a lot of my friends who are Forbes 30 under 30. My friends are overachievers. I'm 33, so I'm not eligible for Forbes 30 under 30. But I had a lot of my friends going because they were recipients of the Forbes 30 under 30 award. They were all going to Israel, and I was like, well, I want to go to Israel. So I went on their website, found out that they were launching another program called Reality Empower. So the cool thing with this program is you can get into a program based on what specific field you're in. So they have, I have some friends right now that are there right now for the music program or the arts, or based on your specific industry.
Oh, okay.
So Empower is for the economic empowerment piece. So they take 30 people, and basically we're going to Israel for 10 days, and it's a leadership development, professional development program. So we'll actually get to go learn about the economy there. Also, it's great because I'll be learning additional ways that I can expand my business. Obviously, my business is internet based, so it is already worldwide. But how I can kind of dig deeper into this market. And I'm excited about that because I have a friend who has a startup there as well. And so I'll be going there and just learning about the culture, but also like the religion and just everything, getting closer to Jesus, you know? So it should be an awesome thing. Like I said, it's 10 days and I'm excited about it. I really am. And it's paid for, which is super crazy. So to apply, you have to know someone who's done it to get their code.
So guess what? I will now know someone that has done this program. Yeah. So when she comes back these 10 days and I like, oh, the next one's coming.
Yeah. So I'll go ahead and I say like, if you look, it's like, I think it's realityimpact.org. And go and see, because they have programs all throughout the year, but you have to you only have a few weeks to apply. So I applied in like February and I just got accepted at the end of May. So, if you're looking, just go and see when that is. So you're on top of it. Cause a lot of times some of the programs only run once a year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And now that I know someone that has,
you gotta have that
going
code.
through it, I'll have a code to get in. Okay. It's a couple other, leadership programs that are in Houston that I've also looked into as well. I have someone else that is coming on that owns a women's nonprofit that is actually in the program now. Okay. For like the Black leadership, I think, of Houston. Another person I know has been through that, and then it's another leadership program that's going through Houston that I've looked into both of these about this, getting into this other circle with these other people that you gotta, that's what you're trying to do. Okay,
I'm here for the destination ones. Show me my leadership in Bali. You know what I'm saying?
Bali, guys, we are going to Bali.
Yes.
I think she's going for like a month.
Yeah, I'm planning to go for a month, so I'm trying to get the dates down. But yeah,
she's going to Bali for a month.
Yeah.
Isn't that life? Is that life?
Namaste.
Okay, so then you're also doing. Are you doing Essence? Are you speaking?
I'm not now. I just decided not to. I'm in the process of launching 2 new websites plus a new business and relocating, and I just realized it was too much. So I'm opting out, and I'm going to come back harder next year.
All right. Yeah. Well, she did obviously have the offer to be able to speak at the Essence Fest throws that are next weekend, which is great because Dominique is
tomorrow. Actually,
a great. When you meet her in person, she gives you so much energy when you're on here, and then you leave and the cameras turn off, and she's like, "Oh, I'm just gonna go home and chill. I just need a drink. Let's just go eat. Let's just go eat. I'm good." Okay, that is her. Okay, so we are almost coming to a close. So give me some type of, give us an additional way to save some money outside of like, I can't go out to eat with my friends this week. I'm not getting my hair done tomorrow. Like, give me a different, savvier way, I guess, for people to save, because, sometimes, reality it's reality. Like, I'm not going to stop getting my hair done, or I'm not going to stop. Like, I might cut back on going out to eat, but like, I'm not going to stop getting my hair done for men and women, or I can't stop, getting my feet done because we're in Texas and it's hot, sandals all the time.
Sandal situation.
Yes. So give us another way for people that can save money.
Yeah. I don't, that's a good question, because I don't believe in, I guess limiting yourself or like not allowing yourself to live. So for me, I think it's always been either one, making more money, or just kind of cutting back on a lot of the things that I have that don't necessarily provide me a lot of like excitement, right? And so I think the first step could be like literally looking at your budget and saying like, hey, I'm paying for cable. Like, I don't pay for cable. I haven't had cable in years, but if you're like, hey, I'm paying $200 a month for cable, would I prefer to watch cable or be out with my friends or exploring or taking trips? And for me, I much rather pay for my Hulu and my Netflix versus paying $200 a month for cable and I'm never home, because, you know what I mean? Stuff like that. But I think also looking at making more money, I think that that's something that a lot of people don't think about. People always like, oh, let's cut back. Like, but we all have these skills. Like, how can you make more money? Even if it's something as simple as making cakes or doing hair or driving Uber or Lyft, something like that. Like, you can make sometime an extra $1,000 or so, which could be a huge game changer in your finances. But another thing that I did when I was saving money is obviously you have to automate your savings. I'm sure you talked about this before. Like, if you don't automate the money that's being saved, you're not going to save. And so for me, I was able to save like my first $50K by 25, went broke after that, but either way, save my first $50K by 25 by just literally like making sure that every time I got paid, a large percentage was going into the savings account. And then I knew what was left was all all I could spend. And I knew that. And I was able to say, okay, this is what I have to spend. These are the things that I enjoy doing. But also taking smaller amounts. So I would take like another $20, $50 or something like that. That would just automatically go every Thursday on a random day to kind of give me an extra little bit amount of money that would be saved. So I think if you kind of can do all of that, I think you can save a lot more money. And then if you do decide to go the whole make more money route, don't increase your lifestyle to match the new money that you're making, making sure that money that you're making extra is very intentional. It's for a credit card. It's for a savings goal, a trip. It's for something instead of you just like getting used to living off the extra money.
Yes. Turn down your lifestyle, people. Okay. I think I need to do that too. But anyway, okay. So she dropped something for you guys. Okay. So I'm going to leave you with, I know we've talked about crowdfunding. We also talked about credit, but I'm going to go back to credit. Okay. Because, you know, when I told you guys that having credit is worth more than money, which, you know, when I tried to buy a Cadillac, I had the money, then I had no credit. So having no credit is just like bad credit, but you can check your credits and not be penalized. I think we have this thing that if you check your own credit, you get penalized for checking it. It's your credit. So you don't get penalized with that. You do have Credit Karma. You also have Credit Sesame. I know if you have Capital One, I have a Capital One credit card. They also give you your credit every 7 days. You can click it. It'll show you what your credit is, if it's going up, if it's going down. They do recommendations for that. I know Discover also does that. So,
and you don't have to, they just change it now with Capital One. You don't have to have a Capital One account. You can actually go and just get their app credit wise. Without having a Capital One account. You
don't have to have an account. So that's good. So hopefully you guys understand that your credit is worth so much, guys. And I do want to thank Dominique for coming in with us today to sit with Making Money Moves. I will post her link. And hopefully, you know, if you guys have any questions for me or for her, you can let either one of us know. And please tune in. Please go to my podcast and on YouTube and subscribe. These subscribers are getting up, but they're still not a lot. Let's up it, guys. Okay. And then YouTube, iTunes, SoundCloud, Google, I'm coming for you. Okay. We're going to get this thing together. But I want to thank you guys again for watching, and we're out.